Good morning and welcome everyone. I'm Councillor Steve Pitt. I'm the Leader and Cabinet Member for Culture, Regeneration and Economic Development. But a housekeeping before we start. If the continuous fire alarm sounds, please evacuate the room and the public gallery by the stairwells. Do not attempt to use the lifts. Please assemble at Queen Victoria's statue in Guildhall Square. In order to comply with the Guildhall Trust Fire Marshal regulations, anyone who signed in at the Guildhall reception desk should sign out when leaving the building at the end of today's meeting. Everyone speaking via a microphone will be recorded and broadcast on the website, including anyone making deputations, although I don't think there are any today. Members of the press and public are also permitted to record the meeting on the understanding it neither disrupts the meeting nor records those stating explicitly that they do not wish to be recorded. Please can everyone use the microphones and remember to switch them off when they've finished. Okay, we'll start off with some introductions. Lisa.
Lisa Gallagher from Democratic Services.
Mark.
Good morning, Mark Collings, Seafront Operations Officer.
Harry Scott, Seafront Arts Programme Officer.
James Daly, Cultural Development and Projects Officer.
Ross Fairweather, General Manager of the D-Day Story.
Lisa Howard, SLS Manager.
Dave Percival, Library and Archive Service Manager.
Catherine Ramsey, Business Development Manager.
Claire Looney, Commissioning and Partnership Manager.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Russell Simpson, Hillsey Ward.
Councillor Mary Vallely, Cosham and Wimmering Ward.
Excellent. Thank you all. I don't think there are any apologies for absence. No. Members, any declarations of interest? No. Okay, then we'll go straight to item 3, which is the Culture, Leisure and Regulatory Services Business Plan. Who's present? James. Okay.
Thank you, Leader. This report is to introduce the Culture, Leisure and Regulatory Services Business Plan. The document sets out the Directorate's work to support the city vision and the Council's priorities, including how it supports a wide range of strategies and how our services work collaboratively across the authority. The last business plan was approved in February 2022. The context at that time was the conclusion of the impact of the COVID pandemic and the emergence from the measures that were required. Obviously, much has changed in those 2 years. We're conscious that many of our residents and communities are experiencing cost of living pressures, and a new central government was elected in July. So this new business plan for the Directorate reflects this context and priorities. The plan takes into account the national policy picture for the wide range of services in the Directorate, such as new strategies from national stakeholders, which in the case of Arts Council England and National Lottery Heritage Fund, for example, include investment principles that we clearly need to reflect. The plan includes a summary of major projects, key performance indicators and risks facing the Directorate and the mitigation steps that are taken for each of these. This includes a review of anticipated and pending changes to legislation coming with that change of central government.
Thank you, James, and thank you for all the work that's gone into this. In particular, I want to acknowledge the work from Claire Watkins, who's on leave today. Members, any questions? Russell.
Don't want to be that guy, but am I guessing because this was started before the leisure was no longer in this portfolio that this is why this is still here? Or?
No, it's a Directorate business plan, not a portfolio business plan.
Okay. Okay, perfect. No, just, yeah, really good to the team. We know how hard they work, so.
Cool, thank you. Mary, anything?
Likewise, well done, folks. Really good piece of work. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, in which case the plan is duly adopted, and thank you very much indeed. Item 4, the update to the metal detecting policy, which is a review and addition of magnet fishing. Mark, over to you.
Good morning. Yes, as you stated, Leader, review of the metal detecting policy and adding in the magnet fishing element, which is something that's relatively new, became popular or popularised over lockdown period during COVID. Situation of throwing a large magnet into a water body to try and see what you can find. Our metal detecting policy generally doesn't allow metal detecting on PCC land unless part of an authorised archaeological event, and we're aligning magnet fishing with that. We've got a number of water bodies. Milton Common is a good example, Long Curtain Moat. Portsmouth's got a rich history and was bombed heavily in the war, so there is a concern of what one might find in these water bodies. We're not too sure what's at the bottom. So we're looking to align magnet fishing with the metal detecting policy, whereby it would be not something we authorise unless part of an archaeological dig.
Thank you, Mark, and really important this one. I've seen this in action in other local authority areas, and the disruption to natural environment can be quite extreme. Members, any questions or comments?
Yeah, it's unusual on this one. I was also just going to ask, like, if you've got a lot, because a lot of people fish in Portsmouth, we have quite a fishing culture, but how do we differentiate really between the two? I mean, how do we manage it? And yeah.
The biggest difference with normal fishing to magnet fishing is the size of the magnet that people generally use for magnet fishing. So casting a line into the water, not so much of an issue, but throwing a heavy weight and swinging that, if that wasn't attached properly, that would be a health and safety issue. So that's the difference.
Yeah, these things are like the size of a major weight you'd put on a set of weightlifting weights. And attached to a rope and hurled into the water, so it's very different.
It just sounds similar, like, because you used the word fishing, so it's just like
it's fishing in its extreme form.
Yeah.
Okay, happy to accept the updated plan then. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mark. Thanks for your work on updating that. Item 5 is the Seafront Arts Navigate project. Harry, over to you.
Yeah, so this is a decision report on the Navigate programme, which is a visual arts programme within the larger enhancements scheme for South Sea Coastal Scheme. The decision would be to adopt this plan of arts commissioning and related activity, and to run public consultation on the largest commission, so that residents have a say on this key element of the scheme. For the record, I would like to amend one error on the PDF, which is on page 129 of the briefing notes, which the Young Explorers Learning Programme element is budgeted at 10k, not 12.
Thank you for the correction. Members, any questions? Nothing? No.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think this is quite exciting. It's an opportunity to not just have world-class sea defences protecting homes and businesses, but also make sure that the new sea defences are what they're already becoming, which is world-class visitor attraction, and points of interest along there, celebrating local and regional, national, and even international art are a key part of that, and we've said that from the very beginning. So thank you for all your work on this, and we look very much forward to seeing what comes forward from the various competitions and open calls. So thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
So, for the record, adopted. Number 6, Portsmouth School Library Service. Over to you, Claire.
Thank you, Leader. This is just a report just to introduce myself as the new manager that took over in April this year, and to report on our 100% buyback from schools across the city, which includes 6 West Sussex secondary schools as well. So we continue to support reading and reader development events across all of those schools in our city.
Portsmouth Schools Library Service is quite an outstanding jewel in our crown, I think, and something we should all be very proud of. And Lisa, thank you for stepping in and with the clear enthusiasm that you have already, and wanting to take it even further, which is something we all, I'm sure, hugely welcome. We did note in the pre-meet when we had the briefing that we're all slightly concerned about those schools who aren't doing everything they maybe possibly can to work with us so that we can support them to encourage reading from the earliest possible ages, and we look forward to getting an update on how that's going, and if there's anything that either ward members or we as an administration can do to support you in that, we will. Mary, anything?
Yeah, really vital stuff, and if there's anything I can do, obviously let me know.
Russell?
Yes, it's reading very, very important within the city, and I think I'm glad to see the number of SLR books increased as well. Some of them as issued to. I think it won't be fixed tomorrow, but it needs somewhere to start, doesn't it?
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Number 7, Portsmouth Community Lottery. Catherine, over to you.
Thank you. We've had a community lottery running in Portsmouth since 2016, previously run by Portsmouth City Council. In 2021, we made the decision to transfer the running of it over to Hive Portsmouth. I think this was due in part to Hive Portsmouth working with a large range of voluntary and community groups across the city, and them being well positioned to manage the process. There are currently 208 groups registered as a good cause in the lottery, and that helps them raise their own funds. Since it's been managed by Hive Portsmouth, there's been an increase in the amount of weekly tickets being sold. And that has an effect on what we can do for grant redistribution. 20 pence for every ticket sold is returned to Hive, and we go out on a grant application process. Since 2022, 91 organisations have received funding from this, and that total just under 60k. We also hold grant workshops for each lottery round. That's supporting the groups to improve the quality of their bids. And it also helps organisations with hints and tips with submitting applications for other bids that they're putting in for. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. I think I joined in 2016 or 17, a long time back, and it can be, you can pay by standing order, and it's a great way to support local good causes. I think I've only won once in all that time. Well, I've had a couple of minor wins and had some free tickets for the following week. So, but this isn't about encouraging gambling on any level, but it is about a useful and fun way to support local good causes. I think I support 2 different ones. So members, it'd be great to take that to the groups, and if any councillors aren't currently signed up, you can do as little or as much as you like, and also something definitely to promote in our communities. Russell?
Yeah, Hive is really important in the city, and I think the more we can help, the better, really. And yeah, I would definitely be going back to the group if they're not signed up already.
Thank you. Harry?
Really interesting to have the information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine. Final item today is item 8, which is Discovering Hampshire's Hidden Heritage around D-Day, and that's the project being led by the Portsmouth D-Day Museum Trust. So over to you, Ross.
Thank you. So this is an information report on the upcoming Discovering Hampshire's Hidden D-Day project, which is a joint project between the museum and the Museum Trust, which is funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund. So the project will survey the location of troop camps around the Hampshire countryside, so the locations where troops were stationed before they headed across to Normandy for D-Day, and make that information available to a general audience, which will be hosted on the D-Day Story website. The project will run for 18 months. We'll employ 2 project staff, a project manager and a volunteer manager. There's essentially 2 elements to the project: field surveys of those locations, so marking what is left of those locations for future record, and research into archive material, mainly the National Archives, to locate which troops were located where, and then turn that into a database, as I said, which will be hosted on the D-Day website. Very much focused on volunteering, so recruiting volunteers directly and working with partner organisations to provide opportunity for people to learn new skills, and also wellbeing opportunity for people as well.
Thank you, Ross. It's a really important piece of work, because we all know that the troops left in vast numbers to go over to Normandy, but they didn't just teleport into Portsmouth. They were already stationed around the countryside, and quite a lot of them had quite a big impact and lasting impact on the villages and the hamlets that they were based in and around. So it's important that we do map all of that, and that we capture that for future generations. So a really good piece of work. Mary, anything?
Really interesting and necessary, I think. How will this look, as well as to being something online? I probably haven't read this properly. Will there be a 3-dimensional visual?
So the main output is the website online, so someone will be able to go in, search the name of their relative or their friend, and they'll be able to find out where they were stationed before they headed over to Normandy. And if that's a publicly accessible location, they would then be able to potentially go back there once they knew where that was.
That's really good. I just think there's an opportunity to do something. Should it just be in papier-mâché to visually see? But, you know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have something that we could that's physical for visitors to be able to look at. So.
Yeah, I think
because so many people don't go online, you know. I'm just thinking people of a certain age, possibly, maybe to see.
I'm thinking of the Dowland Museum, where they have that massive map and you press a button and it shows you where all these things, all these buildings are from. Maybe something like that, like, you know, where was this battalion? They were here at this village. Maybe something like that, but that, once again, that could be projected on the screen, and buttons, you know, something like that.
Yeah, technology's moved on a hell of a long way.
Yeah.
Probably something projected on a wall would be enough. That would be enough to be able to visually see what you're talking about.
So part of the project, there's a number of outreach activities that we're going to do in different locations. So there's an opportunity to do that as part of that. So, yeah.
Great, thank you very much. In which case we look forward to seeing how it progresses. Thank you very much. Well, thank you everyone. That concludes today's meeting. When I'm not quite record time, I remember a former councillor managing to finish the meeting before the Guildhall clock had struck 10 while I was walking into the room. But we try not to be that efficient. But thank you all for your input today, and officers, thank you for presenting, and Lisa for supporting.